On this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, we discuss Israel's war with Hamas and show you, the audience, how this conflict makes Biden look weaker than ever before. In our second segment, we are joined with Kelby Daigle to discuss the upcoming elections in Louisiana. In our third segment, we're joined by Stephen Waguespack, candidate for Governor of Louisiana, and we discuss his plan for the future of Louisiana. All that and more on this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Stay tuned. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. As we said earlier, it is a jam-packed episode. Ladies and gentlemen, have a lot of good guests on today. We have Mr. Kelby Daigle, co-chairman of the St. Martin Parish RPEC. He's going to be sitting here talking about the Louisiana politics and the elections coming up. And it's going to be kind of a preview of what you're going to get this Saturday. If you are listening, if you're a listener of the Cajun Conservative Show, you can go on Facebook at the Cajun Conservative Show, YouTube at the Cajun Conservative Show, and on Rumble, all one word, the Cajun Conservative Show. And we will be live discussing the upcoming elections. So that's going to be Saturday night. Can't wait for that segment. Also in the third segment, Mr. Stephen Waguespack. He is running for the governor's seat here in Louisiana this Saturday. He's going to come and visit with us on the third segment. And this show is mainly going to be that. It's going to be a show based on our upcoming elections that on Saturday. We have a lot of things we have to talk about, and a lot of things we have to get done in this state. But the first process is electing the right people, and this is what the second segment and the third segment is going to be about. It's going to be about our elections. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to come into this segment talking about two stories, and they both are important. And one of them will be the latest in the Israel war against Hamas. And as we get ready for this episode, as we're doing this episode, Israel is on the door of the Gaza Strip. They are about to go ahead and go full-blown invasion onto the Gaza Strip, going to the point where the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has said, listen, if you live in Gaza and you're part of the Palestinian movement of Hamas, you need to go ahead and go to Egypt. Because basically he's giving them a warning. Look, we're about to go into the streets and take out Hamas, which they should do. But we're going to talk about that a little. I got into it, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And I want to go ahead and talk about the House Speaker's race, because right before coming on to record this show, some news broke about Steve Scalise and the Republicans doing what they should have done in the first place. And we're going to get into that. But first, I want to go ahead and thank Give-A-Derm for their partnership with us here at the Cajun Conservative Show and BGS Media. There's a lot of skincare products out in the market today. If you type up skincare products or dermatology products, you will see a buttload of companies. But there's none like Give-A-Derm. I could tell you this right now. There's none like Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm sent us some products, and my family loved it. Me and my wife still use their products. It's just there's none like Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm is a great American conservative company. We want to go ahead and support American-made products, and this is what their company. Everything is manufactured here in the country of the United States. They're conservative. We want to go ahead. We don't want no left-leaning person making the money. All these left-leaning people, they say, well, we're against capitalists while they're trying to promote their companies. Let's support good conservative companies like Give-A-Derm. It prides itself in making skincare products that will help your skin to stay healthy. Not like other skincare products that we talked about earlier that have toxins and chemicals that can hurt your skin. If you apply some to your body, in 30 seconds, it's in your bloodstream. Just think about that. So you want to make sure you know what you're putting on your body. That's why Give-A-Derm products are made with all natural ingredients. We talked about this earlier. It keeps your family keeps your family healthy and your skin healthy. As I said earlier, me and my family, we have used Give-A-Derm products. We love it. If you're interested in trying Give-A-Derm products, go to the bottom of this video in the description, hit the link, and it will send you to the website. And you can go ahead and look at all their products. And if you also at checkout use BGS Media 10, that's BGS Media 10 in the promo code section, you will get 10% off your purchase. So go give Give-A-Derm a look and see what they can offer you in your skincare health needs. All right, let's start off. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, Israel is on the brink of a full-blown invasion into the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip originally belonged to the state of Israel. But unfortunately, through some conniving and backroom deals, Hamas took control of the Gaza Strip. It was the same thing with the West Bank with George Bush. Hey, you go ahead and give this little piece of property up. You won't have to worry about no more wars. It's funny how Israel believed in the American way. And guess what? They still have wars. West Bank and the Gaza Strip makes it a lot easier for terrorists to hit Jerusalem. But as we record this, and the news is breaking that Hamas is running scared right now, and Israel is saying, listen, we're not going to stop until we take out Hamas. And they should. They have the right to protect themselves. I do not agree with everything President Biden has done in this conflict, and we're going to talk about it later on. But he did tell Benjamin Netanyahu that, listen, if this was happening in America, we would move swiftly too. And I like what he's saying, but do I believe it? Probably not. We have an invasion going on at the border, and the president of the United States is sitting on his hands and not doing nothing. Because watching Fox News last night, they brought out the number of 8 million people close to coming across the border. I'm guessing President Biden thinks that's 8 million votes. Possibly. But ladies and gentlemen, this attack on Israel, I believe Israel is doing the right thing. They are going and annihilating the enemy. They're going and annihilate people that send rockets. And the master plan came behind Iran. We're not going to go ahead and sugarcoat that like the president of the United States did. This plan was formed by Iran. They told Hamas how to do it. Hamas did it to the letter. They went ahead and sent rockets, got Israel focused on that, went through the border and went through several towns and took hostages, Israel and American hostages. And now they are threatening to kill a hostage a day unless Israel steps back. Now, Israel is doing the right thing and pressing forward because if you can't believe evil, okay? Evil, you believing somebody that's evil is ironic to me because evil don't care if they tell the truth or lie. They don't. Evil will tell the truth. We know from past experiences with Israel's been told something, and people that are evil went ahead and said, yeah, we're going to do it, and they lied. They just lied, and you cannot believe an evil person because they're not trustworthy. But Israel's stepping forward, and ladies and gentlemen, Hamas needs to be taken out. I will say this. This terrorist organization that is evil needs to be taken out, and Israel's doing right by pursuing them. These thugs, these murdering cutthroats, killed 40 babies. Some were beheaded in the name of Allah or in their religion, because this is a religious war. They have hurt women. I'm going to say it like that. I'm trying to be PG as possible, but it's hard to hold my anger. Ladies and gentlemen, these thugs need to be caught and they need to be annihilated. Isaac, that don't sound very Christian of you. These people started it. These people went ahead and started this war. They were the first ones to send rockets. They were the first ones to kill innocent lives. Now you have people, even unfortunately some in our own country and sitting in the halls of Congress making our laws, want to have sympathy over the Palestinian residents. Look, I'm sorry if you are not a soldier and you live in the Gaza Strip, or you're not part of Hamas. You're probably going through living hell, but you should not blame Israel. You should blame Hamas, because they sent the first rockets. Israel didn't. Israel didn't go ahead and try to annihilate people. Hamas did. So don't blame Israel. Israel is defending themselves, because if Israel don't do nothing now, guess what? They will be annihilated. I heard it earlier today, and it's a famous saying: if the Palestinians will lay down their arms, there will be peace in the Middle East. If Israel lays down their arms, there will be no Israel, because of these cutthroat thugs that think they're better than everybody else because of their religious thinking. And it's wrong. But going with that, and that's the update in... Hamas just didn't take Jewish people as hostage and are threatening to kill them. No, it goes. This is what the president should be focused on. At last count, there was 22 Americans that have been captured by Hamas. Now, Hamas, we know, hates Israel. So why did it take Americans? Because they hate us Americans as well, because we are Christians. See, they hate the Jews because they are Jewish. They are Jewish, basically. They're Hebrew, and they believe in a God that's not their own. Christians believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord is their Savior. So they hate Christians because they do not serve Allah, their God. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why they go after Americans. This is why they call us the serpent of the West. Now, what is our president doing? He is not following the example of Benjamin Netanyahu. You know what he's doing? He's looking into a camera and trying to put fear into the hearts of Hamas. And he's trying to say we stand with Israel. Well, why didn't you say that a couple of weeks ago when you unfroze $6 billion in assets that 9 out of 10 is being used to fund this attack on Israel? They didn't think of this overnight. They knew that money was coming. They knew they could use that money to attack Israel. Our president, look, to his credit, has sent aid to Israel. He is planning on sending SEAL Team 6. We got this from Fox News earlier. He is doing stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to hold back. He don't want too much problems. Ladies and gentlemen, that $6 billion that was unfrozen, released 5 American souls, 5 American citizens. I'm glad they're home. But we just lost. We possibly could lose 22, and we've lost, I think, 13. Now, ladies and gentlemen, but Isaac, those 5 came home. Yes, I'm happy those 5 came home. But it cost us 13 souls. Again, funny how this 13 is always popping up. Ladies and gentlemen, this conflict right here, and mark my words, has shown how weak President Joe Biden is. We already knew it on the conservative side. If the light just ding on for you, you're realizing it now. But this right here, this conflict shows how weak President Joe Biden is. You have Benjamin Netanyahu seconds after the rockets started saying, we're going to war. We're going to defend our country. We have American citizens that are involved. President Joe Biden should be on the phone, which he has been. I don't know what they're talking about, but President Joe Biden should have told Benjamin Netanyahu right from the jump, we're sitting in our armies. We want to rescue our people just like you want to rescue yours. Let's go with a joint task force and let's take out Hamas. You know what the president's doing? Having a barbecue at the White House. Eating pork chops and chicken legs. While we have American citizens being held hostage by thugs. And what our president does, pass another leg, please. Pass the pork beans, please. We're having a party while people are dying in the streets in Jerusalem, including Americans. Our top ally is in trouble in the Middle East. And what we're doing, we're worrying more about freaking Ukraine than we're worrying about the Jewish state. Isaac, you mad? Yeah, I'm mad. Our country is going down in the toilet and it's starting from the top. When we have a man that unfroze $6 billion to our top allies, Iran is our top allies' enemy, and he unfroze $6 billion. Don't you think I'm mad? Oh, Isaac, control your temper. Why? This is why I have a podcast. Just lower down your volume on your radio if you don't like me yelling. But my goodness, man. 40 babies, their heads chopped off. Women are brutally assaulted on streets. You have men going around. I've seen the videos. And then you have a congresswoman, Tlaib, walking the halls of Congress, and a news reporter asking her, do you condone the beheading of babies? And all this woman could do is keep silence. Her silence spoke louder than her words. I want peace in the Middle East. No, you don't. Same thing with Black Lives Matter. The Chicago chapter of Black Lives Matter says they're standing with the Palestinians. That group is a hate group and needs to go. You have people in the streets of New York, in Chicago, and in Los Angeles praising this massacre of Jewish lives and innocent lives. But what they want to do, they want to blame Israel. Oh, it's all Israel's fault. Oh, Israel oppresses the Palestinians. While the Palestinians, not all Palestinians are bad. Let me say it like this. While Hamas is bombing Jerusalem and taking captives, hiding behind innocent people in hospitals, you know what Hamas is? They're cowards. They cowards. They hit and they run. They're like a big bully. You know how you deal with bullies? You go ahead and take them head on. Go, Israel. I'm praying for the state of Israel. My goodness, man. Our president stands up behind a microphone. Don't take no questions like he normally does. Does not mention Iran in his speech. Yes, I'm glad he said we support the state of Israel, but he should have thought of that a few weeks ago when he unfroze $6 billion to their top enemy. But we want to have peace. There is no peace. They hate Israel and they hate us. Man. Ladies and gentlemen, this country is going down the toilet because we have crappy leadership. We have leadership that don't have a backbone. We don't have leadership in the House or the Senate or the presidency. We have Republicans fighting amongst Republicans. We have Democrats trying to shred our Constitution, and we have a president that's trying to do everything in his power to bring this country down because he does not love America. And you ask me why you're mad. Because I'm tired. We have a weak president. We have a weak government because we could not stand a tweet from a man that had peace in the Middle East. We had a stable economy, but because of a mean tweet, I don't know you who voted. I hope everyone in my audience voted for Donald Trump. But you, the ones that did not vote for Donald Trump, the ones that said, oh, we can't stand this tweet. He's not presidential. At least we weren't in this mess. My goodness. And look, I am angry. I apologize for being angry. But ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a country where we backstabbing our allies. And then when they get attacked, we want to stand there with you. This is why President Biden is losing. I'm going to have to wait on that second story because in the second segment, we have Mr. Kelby Daigle coming up. But, we're going to talk about that probably on the Monday episode after the elections. We'll talk about the House Speaker and stuff. This makes me mad, ladies. This just shows how weak our president is. We have Americans. I can hear you on the left. Oh, Isaac, he is helping Israel. And look, and those squad members, those women that are filthy rich and care more about our enemies than our allies, they need to get voted out. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to stand with Israel. We need to stand with Israel. Because Israel is the only democracy. Do I agree everything with Israel? No, I do not. But they are the only democracy. If we care so much about democracy, we need to protect them. Like, hey, and a prime example, like Ukraine. I hear this from the left all the time. Ukraine is standing for democracy when they're not even a democracy. We have a true democracy in the Middle East. The only democracy in the Middle East. And we can't do more than what we're doing? Come on. This is ridiculous. I'm seeing how weak the president is. And look, we don't have a Speaker of the House. Like I said, I'm going to address more of that later on because there's a lot more things unfolding. And one of my representatives here in Louisiana is possibly going to be the next Speaker of the House. But ladies and gentlemen, we have division all over this country. Wars are breaking out all over this country. And you're telling me this isn't the fault of the President of the United States? Joe Biden has caused more division in this country and the world than any president. I'm going to quote Jesse Waters. History is repeating itself. Because the only thing Biden did not have on his plate, like Jimmy Carter, was a hostage situation. Now he got it. Ladies and gentlemen, if I was the president of the United States, I would have called Benjamin Netanyahu and I would say, like, what can I do? Who can I go talk to Congress and try to get some foot soldiers over there? And let's get our people home. Well, I think he's sending SEAL Team 6. I understand he's sending SEAL Team 6. Thank goodness. But what are they going to do? Are they going to sit on their hands? Or are they going to get our people home? Look, I'm upset about Israel. But I'm upset that we have 22 American souls hostage by some 2-bit thugs. And our president don't want to do nothing. But he was sure to get a basketball player out from Russia. Makes me sick. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our break. We got Mr. Kelby Daigle coming up. This will be a long episode, ladies and gentlemen, so please stay tuned. We'll be right back with Mr. Kelby Daigle to talk about state politics in a few moments. So please stay tuned for that. We'll be right back.
Let me tell you what I will do if you make me your lieutenant governor. First, I'm going to address the crime problem. We have to reduce crime in our major cities, particularly in New Orleans, but all across Louisiana. We must reduce the crime. The second thing that I will do differently is that I will sell all of Louisiana. Our state is wonderful, it's beautiful. North Louisiana is unique. Central Louisiana, unique. Cajun country, absolutely unique. All of Louisiana must be sold to the tourists of the world. The third thing that I will do is I will have a legislative staff, just as I had when I was a state representative and a state senator. And we will find common sense solutions to the major problems of Louisiana. And we have so many problems, like the high crime, like the rotten education system that our children are languishing in, too many bad roads and too few decent paying jobs. Those are the kinds of problems that I will address. I will not be a party boy. Well, I'll do a little partying when I'm selling Louisiana to the tourists of the world, but when the party's over, I'll be able to roll up my sleeves and get to the serious business of addressing the problems of Louisiana and Louisiana's people. Those are the things that I will do if you make me your Lieutenant Governor.
From white-collar criminals to violent crime, Marty Maley has prosecuted it all. A professional criminal prosecutor, not a politician. A statewide leader among professional prosecutors. An instructor for local law enforcement and police officers. Marty Maley cares. He's the leader of an early intervention program to keep children out of crime and jail. An attitude of service, a heart for people. Marty Maley, Attorney General.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. I'm full of guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm full of guests. Last episode, we had Mr. Anthony Hayes, and I got another guest for this second segment, and we got one later on the third segment. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and introduce you to Mr. Kelby Daigle. He is the vice chair of the St. Martin Parish RPEC, and a good friend, big into politics. Kelby, you're a young man. You're a lot younger than me. Not that much, but you're a little younger. It's good to see youth in politics. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just turned 31, so you know.
Soon to be former vice chair.
Former vice chair.
Yeah, former vice chair.
Man, why are you quitting?
I'm not quitting.
You resigning?
Well, no, look, we've had a great run. Things change. Life changes.
Yeah.
Definitely a different person than I was, almost 4 years ago when I first signed on. Mid of COVID, too. It was like COVID was going on when we all got elected in 2020. But no, it was a fun ride, a lot of accomplishments. Whether it be raising money, you were there at our bash.
Right.
Second time we had it, BJS Media.
Yep.
Great. Recommend.
Yes.
Let me tell you, because the first one was a nightmare. The first bash, we had a nightmare. The microphone didn't work. It was cutting in and out. The candidates were annoyed. The people were annoyed. And I was
Didn't one
very
candidate
much
like
annoyed.
throw the mic away and say, look, I'm not even going to use it?
Might as well. I mean, that's... but thankfully we had a lot of loudmouth politicians that cycle. And
Every Cajun politician is a loudmouth politician,
well.
man. We can speak, bro.
Hey,
I say we like I'm running for office. I'm not running for nothing.
no, not yet. RPEC.
No, I'm good.
RPEC.
Hey, I got a lot of headaches behind this microphone. So.
Well, look, people don't think it's like, it really does take some time. If you want to do it right, it takes some time. You want to raise some money, you want to bring awareness, you want to book politicians, you want to book elected officials to come and talk to St. Martin Parish, right? It takes a lot of time. And when you don't have, we're a committee of like 12 or 11, one of the two, and you've got, a handful of people actually doing stuff, it can get a little, stressful. So, but they're going to do well. They've already replaced me or going to replace me on the PAC. Chad Hart is going to take that up.
Okay.
He was our director for the PAC. Chad's going to do great. All those tables you saw at the bash, that's all him, selling those tables, getting those speakers confirmed. So Chad's going to do great. Lauren is going to do great. Lorna Mills and Roseanne Williford, if they all get elected again,
right.
they're going to do great, and those three people really did great. They put that bash on, and I gave them a lot of credit in front of everybody that night. And I just want to do it again because they really worked hard for that. We all worked hard.
Right, yeah.
Y'all were instrumental in it as well. I've had a great working relationship with Buzz. The bash was my idea. The PAC was my idea. All these crazy ideas basically came from me, and he, gave me the green light.
Yeah,
he gave me the green light. So, there were some that are kind of, whatever. There's no love lost with them, but I'm happy with what's going on. I'm in school full time. I work full time. I do Ignite consulting, on the side. I got a lot going on. You just gotta know when to reprioritize, right?
Which we're working on a partnership with that as well with Ignite. So we are teaming up with you on a few things as well. So BGS Media, we're really involved in it. We're trying to team up and work together. We already work good together.
Yeah.
So, but But with that being said, man, congratulations on your time in the RPEC. And are we going to see a run later on, or what?
No, look, when I dropped out of those races, before earlier this year, I was done.
Yeah.
I'm very, content. It just feels right. You think about it a long time, you pray about it, and it just feels right. It just feels like this is what I need to do. I need to focus on other things. I've got other things going on, and you give it a good run. I'm setting them up to be very successful. We picked up a lot of money the last 2 years, and I'm just handing them some to run with. And I have full confidence that Chad and Roseanne and Lauren are going to take it and run with it, and whoever else gets elected, they still got to replace me on 8. A few people.
Which 8 is a big district.
Yeah, 8's a big district, important district. We have a little over 3,000 Republicans in District 8. I think more Republicans than Democrats. And but that used to not be like that.
No, it was, and pointing back to the candidate Mike Francis, who we had on this show, he played a big role in switching a lot of the state from blue to red. So and on the tail end, we're young. I'm 31. I think you said you was 20. Let me make sure. 23, I'm right?
24.
24. Hey, I'm giving you a year younger.
Hey, some people say I'm 30. So, hey, I'll take it.
Better than what I heard. My producer, Hezekiah, who's not here right now, so I can talk about him. Producer Hezekiah asked me if I was 51 the other day.
No,
so
damn.
Don't feel bad, dude.
Okay.
No, but anyway.
Someone tells me 51, I'm going to get I'm going to...
we're not going to explain.
I'm going to L.A. and get some work done.
But on that note, we're on the tail end of this, and we gotta keep it going.
Yeah.
As young Republicans, and try to make sure that our state stays on the right path.
And that's also another thing, because I wanted to move the PEC in a direction, and I'm not trying to spill our laundry out here by all means, but just to give you some insight on that, I wanted to put the PEC in a different direction. I wanted the PEC to be more diverse and more young, and it's nothing to anybody who's there now. But there were some seats that came available, and I said, well, I would like to, have those filled with younger and diverse. We had a big idea to reach out to more minorities and get more minorities within the parish to register Republican and get involved. You cannot reach out to people if you all look the same.
Right.
And that it's hard. It's hard to do that. First of all, it's hard to even get people to change their minds, right? Because that's essentially what you're doing, whether you're reaching out to old white people, young white people, black people, young black, you're getting them to change their ideology, or just look into something different, or approach things differently. And I did not win those battles, and it just made things less. So like, what are we doing then? At this point, it's like, why stay here if we're just going to keep doing the same?
Right. And that's where you got to make the choice, just to move on or to do something other.
Yeah, like move on, or if I'd had time, I'd have got people to run against certain people and all that stuff. But I didn't have time to be doing all that. But look, Buzz, and I think Buzz is going to stay on, depending on what Corey Malone saw, if he wins or not. If I would have won on the parish council, if I'd have stayed running, I would not have run for RPEC again. That's a decision Corey's going to have to make.
But you also got Pete Delcom that's running.
Pete Delcom also for parish president. Pete's good people. But Pete's also tired of, because I don't know if you remember, forever we were fighting. For a long time this committee was fighting, and Pete was like, what the heck did I just sign up for? Poor Pete. That's why I gave him a shot. I was like, we've had some great times, but we've also had some not so great times too. And Pete was Pete kind of approached it like I did. We're going to actually do some stuff. That's what he thought was going to happen. And that's what I thought was going to happen whenever I, got elected. And it turns out that it's actually not true. I mean, if you can whip the votes, which I was pretty good at whipping votes and getting people to vote the way I wanted to, I could. That's why Lunsford hated us so much, because we had a block. We had a block on that thing, and we voted all this. We stuck together, that block of 6, So, but when it gets fun to win fights and win wars and stuff. But at some point, it gets boring. You know, as long as I know I'm leaving, and I'm leaving it in good hands, and I'm done all that I can do. We didn't have a real good social media page. We didn't have graphics that looked nice. We built up the Facebook page. We have a website. It's under construction. That's a whole mess. You see, you ask people to do stuff, and they don't do it. And so we would have had a nice website. So just those things, you know, raised money. We have about $10,000 in the bank profit in the PAC account, the Political Action Committee, and that's all. You know, look, I told Chad, I said, look, build up that money to where you can go ahead and start helping candidates win, get more Republicans, you know, do things with that money, because we get money from qualifying fees and stuff, but it's very, you know, very strict on what we can use it for.
Right.
You can't use it to give to candidates and all that stuff. And we all know politics. You have no money, you don't play.
Yep. Well, so with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about, you just talking about how, you know, getting stuff done, and, you know, you're going to be out of it. But at the same time, you will be on our show starting Saturday as a political consultant, I guess you could say. Contributor, yeah, let's say like that.
Well, I'll still be the vice chairman Saturday. I'm not leaving until November. We canceled our meeting because we didn't have a quorum. But yeah, we got to transfer everything and finish out the finances.
Well,
and all that stuff.
This Saturday,
I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to be together. I think it's going to be virtual, but at the same time, we're going to have, you know, William Wallace is supposed to stop by. We're supposed to have our state rep-elect, Chad Boyer. I got to check and see if we're still there. So we're going to have fun this Saturday night. And talking about this, and this was our whole shows surrounding today, is the state election here in Louisiana. Chad, we got a lot of candidates for governor. We got a lot of candidates. A lot of people don't see it, but a lot of candidates for lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state. We got treasurer. We got some big races coming up. And I was asked the other day by Dr. Michael Swartz that wrote Fauci's Fiction. He said, Isaac, how the heck do you have a blue Democrat governor? How y'all blue? He said,
you don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time, but
you don't, because I was involved in a race in 2015, and I can tell you exactly how it happened. I tell you exactly how it happened. Very easy to Cliff Notes version. Very nasty DC politician, David Vitter, the most nastiest guy, literally, in his diapers and all that. So you remember Diaper Dave?
No, I don't remember.
He's the reason we have John Bell.
I was a Vitter guy, so I'm just leaving your heads up. I was a Vitter guy back in the day, so. But no,
the guy who did DC Madams, right, was on those websites, the leaked websites in DC, cheated on his wife with prostitutes, allegedly dropped. Well, that's true, but allegedly he had dressed up in diapers. That was his deal. That's who you voted for?
Okay, no, I remember what you're talking about now.
But
at the same time, that's a different race. I will say we can talk about that later on. But I know what you're coming from.
But anyway, nasty guy, nasty guy, very nasty guy. I shook hands with David Vitter one time in Lydia. You know where Lydia's at? Way down there at some festival. And I ran straight to the Germex. And the whole thing, just like.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, he was very bitter to Jay Darden. He was very bitter to Scott Angel. And John Bel Edwards just kept his head down.
Yeah, well, he
focused on the issues. And bam.
He did the same thing with Eddie Rispone and Ralph Abraham. And Abraham and Eddie Rispone.
Again, Eddie Rispone, nasty guy. Went ahead. And look, I'm not even for being nice to your fellow Republicans, right? Because some Republicans, one, deserve whatever they're going to get to them. Two, you have to differentiate yourself and say, this is why I am better.
So this is why. Look, I'm going to use an example, and I'm tall between these two because I told a story about the Wags hat on air.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm voting for governor. It's either Landry or Wags. What I like about what Landry and Wags are doing, though, themselves, now their PACs and everything, they have come against one another. But you hear them say, look, we're different in this way. But at the same time, it's not a jab that where you can go like, oh, they're attacking each other.
But who cares if they're? Here's my thing. Who cares if they're attacking each other, right? Because the Republican Party of Louisiana. Now you try to get me in trouble, but that's fine. That's all right. Republican Party of Louisiana they stole the endorsement and they're in Jeff's pocket already. So they essentially created their own 2015 by pissing off all the other Republicans. I hope that's allowed on your
It's
show.
good.
By angering all the other Republicans and their supporters. You're going to see. I'm very curious to see who says, you know what, the election is over. So-and-so is better than Sean, because it'll be Sean Wilson.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see who's going to do that.
Well, I've already predicted, and
I'm telling you, somebody won't do it.
I think it's going to be Landry and Swags, just by polling and by the way that
Landry and Wags in the runoff?
No, not Wags. Right. I mean Wilson. Sean Wilson. No, not Wags. Wags is coming on the third segment, so that's why.
Right.
But that's where I'm coming.
I like Wags. I almost voted for him, but
and look, I like Wags too. Real good person, man.
John Schroeder, and you know what? I hope everybody look. I'm gonna plug John Schroeder, state treasurer. Go vote for John Schroeder. You want a record of conservative. You want a record of fiscal conservative.
But going back
you
want
to vote for somebody? All talk, no, all talk.
But this is the issue I have with John Schroeder, because he's one of the only candidates that have thrown
it's the
Wags
truth
and at
truth,
Jeff
though. that's
So, but that's the problem we're having with this.
We don't have a problem. We have a problem with the state Republican Party. That's your problem.
Well, but it goes to the point too, Kelvin. Look, you talk to tons of candidates like I've talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that has run for state rep or state senate that we had on this show, Alan Sebo, Blake Miguez, Chad, Miss Katie from District 81, all these people I've asked. I said, look, do you think that it's time to get away from the jumbo primary system? Because if you rely on the GOP. I know what the GOP was thinking. Well, last time we waited to the very last candidate to endorse.
They stayed out of it.
They stayed out of it, and then everybody was like, well, you should endorse somebody. Now they endorse somebody. Was it too early? Yeah, I think so.
Look, if Sharon, Nelson, Schroeder, Wags, who does all the other Republicans?
Yeah, there's 16 candidates in the race.
They would all be rhinos, right? Legitimate rhinos. And Jeff is the only Republican. He's a rhino himself.
I wouldn't take that far.
No, you're right. No, he's a whatever that is, a Trump, whatever that is. I'm a Republican.
Yeah,
I'm a Republican back when we were normal kind of Republicans. Now since COVID, everybody went crazy within the party. A lot of people in the party went crazy. It's just Jeff.
But there's a
Jeff
lot of
even changed.
There's a lot of division, and that's the issue we're having with
so
these
if you'd
elections.
have had 4 rhinos and Jeff would have been the only Republican, then fine, endorse him.
Yeah.
Endorse him. But not when you have. I mean, Sharon Hewitt. Can you name anything Sharon Hewitt's done that she deserved to be given the middle finger?
Let's go to
John
the point.
Schroeder, same thing. Richard Nelson, even though he's a weasel and he dropped out.
When we first met, though, remember, I was Jeff Landry all the way. And I still like Jeff, but at the same time, I'm starting to lean more towards Wags. And that's where,
how much Wags paid you? I'm just messing.
Wags did not
I'm
pay.
just messing with you.
He's going to be on the next segment. He's going to ask me, watch. No. But I just, I think we have a lot of good candidates in this governor's race.
We have a lot of people that shouldn't have run for governor.
That I do agree with, too. I think Nelson, me personally, Nelson should have went ahead. Nelson should have stayed in his district spot. Mm-hmm. So, but we also have, that's one of the many races we got going on. You already voted already. I got to vote Saturday.
I voted already. Yeah.
I like election day voting, man. I don't know about you.
Let me tell you something. I do it because if I die, I already voted.
You know what? Did the vote blue?
No, if I die, I got it done already. I voted.
So we.
And I did vote for John Schroeder.
You did vote for John Schroeder.
Yeah.
See, like I didn't vote yet.
Here's the problem. Here's the deal. I've been wanting Schroeder to run for governor for a very long time. Incredible in the House, fiscal hawks, questioning Bobby Jindal, questioning Jay Darden, questioning Edwards. Schroeder and Miss Ellie, nice people. Schroeder has a record of doing everything that this state needs to be done, right? You just give him the governor's office. Give him more influence. Then we could be competitive. Now, do I agree with how his campaigns run? No, I didn't. I don't agree with how they're doing things. I'd be doing it a hell of a lot differently. But, you know, it is what it is. Sharon Hewitt, good person. Yeah. Great record. Stephen Waguespack, you want somebody... And look, I'll agree with him. Jindal wasn't horrible in the first term. I'll give him that.
It was his second term.
When Jindal started running for president and wanting to be the president, which that was never going to happen, then Jindal kind of, you know, he'd be in Iowa. Oh, we're balancing the budget. Yeah, we have a budget crisis in Louisiana. Right. And Jindal was leaving the next governor, whether it be John Bell Edwards. I don't think he was leaving billions in a you know, deficit or a fiscal cliff or whatever the hell they want to call it. But he was definitely leaving a good bit. Well, the state was going to be in trouble.
And this is why, like, and I know you have issues with Moon, but Moon is correct on that. Remember how the advocate was trying to say a $2 billion deficit, and like Moon was saying, it wasn't that much.
No, but
they did have a deficit.
It was still a problem.
It was a problem.
And then John Bell is going to be giving. That's why me and Chad Boyer was talking the other day. I said, y'all have to vote on some stuff.
Yep.
Y'all be voting on some stuff. Whatever y'all decide to do, you know, because the penny, if I'm not mistaken, is expiring. There's a lot of money that's going away. Well, you either have to cut it or you either, keep it.
Let's give props to Blake Miguez, because I know you wanted to talk about that race too, District 22 Senate race. And look, we can even throw Alice Sebow in there. But they wanted to stop the spending cap. Yeah. They didn't want to expend the spending cap because that was going to help the next governor. And you had originally 36, great. It ended up being only 19, and that was the problem. You had backroom deals and stuff, and that's the thing we need to fix in Louisiana.
Yeah, well, we can't complain about backroom deals when the state party does backroom deals and endorses but tricks RSCC members into voting.
But that's where that's
why you vote John Schroeder and you get you give the middle finger to the good old boys. I mean, just look who's behind Jeff. Carmouche Law Firm. Biggest trial lawyers, $2 million. Okay, now what's legacy lawyers giving money to Jeff Landry for?
No, I agree.
To sue the oil and gas industry.
And look,
Mr. Am for the oil and gas industry.
And this
drilling equals jobs. Remember him?
And this is the issue I have with Jeff Landry, because look, this is why I'm leaning towards. And I get flack on that. I've had people reach out to me, Wags. Why you
vote for whoever the hell you want. Tell the people, you vote for whoever you want for. It's America.
But this is where I'm going to come to the point. Look. Let's use the bash, for example.
Yeah.
You had tons of candidates invited. Only one showed up. And props to Stephen Waguespack. He showed up. I've reached out to...
And he was the only governor's candidate who went to a regular RPEC meeting, too.
Yes. And then, I've invited shows on here. And look, they worked out to where he can come on this episode.
Let me tell you why. And there is some people who they take it personal. Which is another reason why I'm getting out of politics. Everybody's taking it personal. It's business.
I agree with you on that.
They're taking it personal. I'm going to tell you right now, if we wouldn't have booked Waguespack, if we wouldn't have offered Schroeder, we wouldn't have offered Sharon, Jeff Landry would have been in that Pats. He would have. He wants to be by himself. And that's fine.
Well, didn't he only show up to like one debate as well?
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. That's cool. Look, you do you, buddy. I mean, you do whatever you got to do. But we have always been a committee where we let everybody of all the big tent within and I said that in my speech to open up the thing. We have always had everybody on the committee, whoever wanted to speak. We got some people on the committee. I do not agree with them at all. Right? They have some people on the committee that believes the election was stolen, and I think it's crazy. But I'm not going to, if they want to invite a crazy person to the committee, which they have before. I will not name no names. I didn't object to it because at the end of the day, we have the crazy, just like the other side, the Democrats. They have the crazy, they have the normal. We have the crazy, we have the normal. And I believe that we shouldn't be. I'm believing in the First Amendment. I mean, we have to let people say what they want to say.
And Kelby, you on this show?
Yeah, we don't agree.
No. We do not agree on everything, dude. No, I've already record about 3 phone calls prior to this interview, and then an interview before that we couldn't.
That's what we should record.
Yeah, but we had all 3 phone calls were over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Now we was about to have one today, but I told you, hey, I was at work.
I was at work too.
But you get what I'm saying though. We don't always agree. And look, people criticize me, man, when I have a liberal trucker from Missouri, that we do not agree on anything. But what is the problem with, like you said, taking it too personal? Oh, you have a moderate Republican. How dare you? Well, why? The First Amendment was not created for the people we agreed with. It was for the people that we disagreed with. And I think stuff like this, us having a conversation, works in America's favor. Like you said with the RPEC, you can have different disagreements, and you can have candidates. But at the same time, hey, my candidate can come. You can't vote out this candidate. You have to hear all the candidates out. And that's why I like having interviews with, look, even a Democrat. If a Democrat wants to come on here, there's one candidate I disagree with totally. He asked to come on. Unfortunately, we don't have time, but if he gets elected, I'll gladly have him on.
Yeah, and I would have people, when I had a show, I would put people on. J. Miles Coleman, he's pretty liberal, but he knows his things he knows his stuff when it comes to redistricting and maps and all this stuff. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, but I think he went to LSU, I'm not sure, or has some sort of roots here, used to live here or something. We talked forever on my show, and very informative. I don't know all the answers.
No,
I don't
me
know
neither.
everything, and I don't mind talking with, now, if you're going to come disrespect me, saying you're going to call me a name or something, then I ain't talking to you.
No, I agree with you.
And that happens on both sides. I mean, I get called a rhino every 5 minutes. No, I just look at things objectively, and if it's BS, it's BS. I'm not entertaining it. I mean, it's just.
And look, on this note, because you would be labeled as more of a moderate, I'm more of a conservative, more right wing.
No, that's ridiculous, because I am a conservative. But but conservatism has been hijacked by populism and by MAGA.
I'm about to make you mad, so you're not voting for Donald Trump.
I'm not voting.
I'm messing with you.
No, I'm not voting for a terrorist.
That's a little far.
That's not. How is it far? The guy tried to be president, remain president.
We have a different
Look, all
opinion
that.
on that.
Look, we the people. I'm just
gonna say
all of this stuff right here. The Constitution.
I'm just gonna
sure
say
you have a Constitution somewhere.
All I'm gonna say about this, because of MAGA, because look, I'm gonna say.
And I don't. Hold on. I want to say something, because everybody says don't call his supporters. Screw his supporters, because they enable him to do that. They enable the Republican Party to lose when we have 10 candidates running for the nomination who would win and beat Biden in a landslide, who's not in court, who's not losing elections. Ron DeSantis won re-election by 20 points.
I'm a Ron DeSantis guy.
Nikki Haley's never lost an election.
But at the same time, you talking about that.
Put him in jail. I don't care.
Remember, he can still run in. But anyway, going back to that point.
If that's what we've come down to, I'm moving to Australia.
Well, anyway, but on that point though, look, the American people are behind him, and look, you have the right.
No, they're not behind him.
50% of the Republican Party says they are.
Well,
anyway,
good luck winning the general election.
But anyway, on that note,
you have a dude that looks like this.
On that note. What? You trying to impress? No.
I'm Joe Biden.
No. You did that wrong. You did it wrong. It's not. It's we the country have represented in one word. I sent him in the omni. I don't even know how you spell that, but anyway. But Kelby, Saturday night we're gonna be together. We're gonna be calling some racists.
No, I'm not gonna be calling race. Oh no.
Well, we're gonna call them when they come out. Their projection. That's what I mean by call.
Fox.
No, we don't have a decision date. We don't have a decision desk. We don't have a decision desk. So, but anyway, so we got a big night planned Saturday night. God willing, we get some names called. Like I said, we didn't even touch on Lieutenant Governor. We have Billy Nungesser, Elbert Guillory, Secretary of State. Some real good candidates right there.
Yeah, we only have 2 people that skirted by. I mean, Mike Strain and the new insurance commissioner.
Yeah, Tim Temple.
They're the only ones that are running. I mean,
running unopposed.
A lot of it, big turnout. It's gonna be a big turnout. Go vote. I don't care who you vote for. As long as you go vote. And I think we have a Senate race here that's getting pretty nasty. I mean, I don't know Hugh Andre. I met him once.
I met him
nice
twice.
Guy. A very nice guy. Interesting people who support him. Okay. I think I'd encourage everybody to vote for Blake. If you haven't noticed by now, like records, right? I want to, because here's the deal. I know what you're gonna do, or I have an idea of what you're gonna do, right? A lot of money. When they gave a lot of money. And people don't know this, but why do you think Sherman Collette's always right next to Blake, because if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
I know where you're
wrong.
going with this.
That city hall got finished because Blake gave him,
Blake
some money.
and I think
Mike Huval gave it all to St. Bernard or something to that. He gave it all away.
I like Blake
to try to be the
know,
mayor of Beaubridge, which was never going to happen.
You talked about John Schroeder standing up to the governor, so Blake has done that. And this is where and if you look at the people that are
I don't care about standing up to the governor. Just represent your people.
Yeah, and
Blake has represented other people's district too. Mike Huval's district.
Yeah, and that's where we got. And look, on that note, we had our state rep run unopposed.
Yeah, let me tell you, Chad
Boyer.
Let me tell you something. Chad Boyer is great guy, and let me tell you something about Chad. He called me the other day, and I said, Chad, let me tell you. I said, well, I got you on. I've been meaning to call you, but I've been forgetting. But I said, I got a very ugly letter from the Department of Revenue. And, when you get the mail from Department of Revenue.
Yeah, you need to get it situated.
It's scary, right? So I'm over there opening my mail, and I almost had a heart attack. So I'm looking at, I owe the DMV some money. It was a lot of money. I was like, okay. Well, why do I owe the DMV some money? Well, you see, when you have automatic payments, you forget about it, right? Apparently, my insurance, I got a new card. This was in March. So I've been trying to call them. Don't answer their phone. DMV does not answer their phone. Does not answer their phone.
Let's say like this. Zootopia did it right by doing a sloth as the
yeah. So I said, Chad, look, I don't know what you can do, I said, but they costing me some money. I can't get in touch with them. I need to get my registration renewed. So, because I don't like to, I was dodging the police. I was dodging from being behind the police, and I'm not a criminal. Do I look like a criminal? No, not a criminal. So, let me tell you, I got off the phone with Chad. 10 minutes DMV was calling my phone. In 10 minutes. And it's not just because I know Chad helps everybody. Chad helps a lot of people. Chad is good people. I'm happy he, and I told him that, and he understood that. When I was running against him, it was never because I didn't like Chad. Now, other people, different story. I didn't know Chad. I didn't know him. I didn't know Jason either.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I didn't like Jason or because I didn't like Chad, because I didn't like Keith Bodin. I was thinking I had some good ideas. I can go ahead and give some good ideas. But I'm happy the way things turned out. Luckiest man in the world, okay? You understand?
Going up against two good candidates and came out unopposed.
And then unopposed. Make that one. Won the lottery on that one. But we have a lot of good people running for office. There are a lot of good people. Lauren Blanchard,
Lauren
Savoy, Reggie Clues. They're all good people.
And this is,
locally.
we talked about Blake. Blake is one of the only two candidates we officially endorse here on the Cajun Conservative Show. The other one is Albert Guillory. And as people may know, we kind of made it known, but we can say we endorse Marty Maley. Marty Maley would make a great attorney general. I see if that
very
goes
qualified. Marty's very qualified.
Very qualified. On that race, and we're gonna probably talk more about it Saturday. Marty, if it does come down to a runoff, John Stefanski has a lot of bad rep. So I would say probably it would be Liz and Marty probably in a runoff. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't happen, it's either going to be a blowout by Liz or it's going to be a very tight race between Marty and Liz.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it being a blowout by Liz. To be honest, she's not going to win. Nobody's going to win. There will be a lot of runoffs.
Yeah, a lot of them. That just means we got another date in November.
With the exception of the lieutenant governor, Billy's going to be reelected hands down. We're going to have one definitely for treasurer between. I mean, I'm not voting for John Fleming, but I like John Fleming. Nothing against him, just associated himself with some people I don't really care for. AG definitely going to be a runoff. Secretary of State, it's going to be a runoff. I'm voting for Nancy Landry. I voted for Nancy Landry.
You got to say.
Voted for Nancy Landry. And I was a Mike Francis guy up until the end. I think, look, Nancy's, she knows what's going on. She's not crazy like Brandon Trosclair believing all these things. I mean, that's...
Watch out. I'm leaning towards Brandon, so I'm just going to say... I got some things, but there's
some paper. You want paper ballot?
There's
So,
some. No,
so
there's
you
some
want
other,
election night to be election year?
No, there's another reason why.
No,
and you
why?
probably know why. We don't have time to get into.
No, I have plenty of time.
I got another segment to go into.
That's
so.
all right. This is a podcast. This is not radio. We
But
can do whatever
anyway-
we want.
But anyway, I'm leaning because of his Christian faith. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's one reason why. But I'm not, like I said, I don't.
It's
have,
elections. It has nothing to do with God.
No, I understand, but at the same time, I have not made my final decision. Look, there's a lot.
You see, I
of
wish I had a show
races.
because I would definitely pick into that because it's for Secretary of State. There's nothing to do with the man's
I agree
faith.
with you. I agree with you. But at the same time,
What
I'm
about
looking,
up and down the ballot?
Well, that's why I am looking towards Nancy Landry. I'm not voting for Clay Shea Schneider. That's a hard.
What
no
if he's
for
in
me.
church every 5 minutes?
Well, then that's
If
the,
that's
hold
the
on, hold on.
qualification?
You can go to church, but that don't mean you're a Christian either. You
Okay,
get what I'm
well,
saying?
What if you every 5 minutes you're thinking about God?
No, but you can still think about God and not be a Christian.
But
either.
be a
You-
Christian, whatever. Be a Christian. Always don't say
but-
cuss words. Don't
I
drink.
understand where you're going at, but like I said, that's why I'm looking.
I just think
I
that's
had
so
more.
interesting to base the reason to vote for somebody
Well, no, but this is
because
why,
of that.
But
When
this
the
is
when
why.
the election has nothing to.
But
you
this
know,
is why I'm looking into. Like I said, when people
I'm
ask me
genuinely
about
curious.
second-
It's not.
no.
judgment. I'm
But
genuinely
that's what I
curious.
said. That's why I tell people that I am. I look at all aspects of it.
Right.
And I like Brandon. Me and Brandon talked on a number of occasions. I have Brandon's number. He's been on this show. I called him Brian by accident, but
He looks like a Brian.
He looked like a Brian. but that's one of those races that
Right.
I am. Because look, somebody asked me that the other. Hey, your opinion of Secretary of State? I'm leaning this way and that way. That's all we can do.
Yeah, there was like a few people that ran that no business running. You know.
There's a lot of good races, and I can't wait for Saturday night. I think we're gonna have fun. I hope we call some good. I hope we announce that look, this is gonna be a winner. I'm hoping that Elbert running all over the country. Well, no, all over the state helps him out. So we're gonna have to see. I like Elbert. Albert's a
Let me
good
tell you
one.
something. Alberts was my boss for almost a year when he ran for Congress in 16. I know Albert very well. We were going to work together this cycle, but nothing panned out. Albert's good people. I don't understand why he talks about everything. Let me tell you, Lieutenant Governor is tourism.
No,
And Albert Giller is not going to. He thinks he's going to change that, but
Well,
that's like the legislature and the governor assigns the lieutenant governor what to do, and that's all. That's all there is.
and
He's
that-
going to be the tourism lieutenant governor
you can
if
have-
he wins.
And look, like he does have a good argument that hey, they could have a small legislative branch. Possibly, we'd have to see how it goes. But look, not to knock down Billy Nungesser, but Billy Nungesser has done some good things for the state of Louisiana.
Yeah,
So
one of the best marketers. Because that's what it is. You're the chief marketing officer of the state. You have to go out and promote the state. Billy's done a great job at doing that. Tourism brings in a lot of money, and he's right. That's taxes we don't have to pay, But look, the governor's race is going to come down to this, in my opinion. And Louisiana's going to lose either way, and it's unfortunate because we have some candidates who could do good. Of course, you're probably wondering. I'll say this first, then remind me to say something. But you've got a guy who you go down a state road and you can hit every hole, and you will need some new CV joints, and you will need some new shocks, and you will need some new tires after you go on these roads. And he's had 8 years to do that, basically. Sean Wilson, he inherited a mess. He pretty much kept the mess going. Nothing really special about Sean Wilson. He don't know where he's at on positions, too. He's pro-life, pro-choice. He's confused.
he's trying to win both bases.
yeah,
and
he's
it's not-
playing it both
See,
sides.
that's one thing that John
He's-
Bell did
right.
well. John Bell, look, I'm
Well, no,
pro-life. He
because
stuck
John
to it.
Bell's genuinely pro-life. There's
Right.
no doubt in my mind. No, I believe in exceptions. I mean, I believe in that, and because, it's just I don't think there should be. We should be 100%.
Right.
Can't have an exception. You go tell a woman that got raped. She's got a not early. I really don't go do it. But I'm ready to do it now when it's about to come out. Absolutely not. But anyway, that's another topic. But that's just my personal opinion, and I think it's a more realistic approach. I mean, I think the other side would win a better argument, or would win some arguments. Now they're just extreme. But if you say abortion within the first couple of weeks, I mean, you probably would more people would be able to get behind that. But no, up until a week and all that stuff in some places that's going on.
California.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. But I believe life begins at conception. But anyway, so Sean Wilson is all over the place. Can't win. Can't really win. But might. I still say there's a good chance Sean Wilson could win.
There he is.
It's going to depend on how everybody falls in line after.
After they see, and that's where I'm. That's
you notice Jeff ain't spending all that money either.
So I think Jeff is getting ready to go after Wilson if they get into a runoff.
Right, but he's got to be careful because if he's nasty like Vitter, you've got John Bell running there again.
But like I said,
and then the second thing is a guy. You have a guy who didn't do his job as Attorney General, and just sued the crap out of the Biden administration and the whatever administration just to get headlines, okay? To run for governor. And then who's going to run in 2 years for the Senate? Why do you think Big Billy backed off running for governor?
Well,
Billy can get 10 years as governor if he played his cards right. And I respect Billy for that.
But you see,
I respect Billy for that.
I don't see Billy winning for governor. I don't see Billy.
He don't have to win for governor. He's going to be anointed governor because he's the lieutenant governor when Jeff runs for the Senate.
And I hope he doesn't do that because.
Well, he's going to stay the lieutenant governor.
No,
by Constitution,
I'm not talking about Billy. I'm talking about Jeff. If Jeff would win,
come on.
But let's talk more about this on Saturday night. Let's make.
Well, hold on.
I didn't
finish my stuff. So. You're going to have a guy who's going to be the guy. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is what else I want to finish up with. Ask me who I'm going to be voting for in the runoff. If it's Jeff and Sean.
I'm hoping you'd vote for Jeff.
No. Ask me a question. Don't say.
Why? Who you vote for?
I will vote for Jeff Landry. Because let me tell you something. You're talking to a partisan here. You're talking to a partisan now. If the independents are going to do that and the Democrats, because you can't win with just Republicans.
But this is
luck.
Where, on this final note, before we wrap up this segment, this is why I think, first off, we need to get rid of the jumbo primaries.
Jungle
primary. I thought it was jumbo primary. I heard jumbo.
Jungle,
anyway,
like the jungle. Like
anyway,
jungle juice.
This jungle.
Oh, no, you don't know that because you don't ever drunk. You never drank anything.
I never drunk.
You never drunk? No, you never drunk jungle juice.
Anyway.
I didn't finish my sentence.
But this whole primary system we have, we need to change it. But at the same time,
but be careful what you're asking for. Too.
While it's here, that first round of elections, vote for whoever you want. And that's where I have the problem with a lot of
not enough time to coalesce. It's
yeah.
not enough time to coalesce, and I agree.
So, but Kelby, Saturday night, man, we're gonna have fun, bro.
I'll see if I'm available.
Oh, you better be available. You already told me you come.
I'm gonna check my calendar.
Yeah, unless you go to a party, but then you can just report from the party that you had. Man.
I'm not going to a party. I haven't been invited.
Yeah, well,
all you listening, I haven't been invited. I don't want to go anyway.
Kelby, thank you for coming man.
I will be in my house, in my office,
with a computer on.
With a computer, with some screens, with the TV on. Maybe we'll do pizza or something.
Hey, if you want to eat pizza, man, I'm gonna be in here. Drink
a Michelob.
You can do that. I'll be drinking my Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
I'll drink my Dr. Pepper.
Drink your Dr.
and
Pepper.
My water.
Drink your Dr. Pepper.
My Nigeria, or whatever it's called.
Whatever that is. Kelby,
that's some good water, by the way.
Hey,
where you got that at?
I think Super One.
Super One.
So I plugged the Super One, sponsor the Cajun Conservative Show.
That's some big coin right there.
That's some big coin.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no problem.
And you know what? Whatever I tell you, don't even send it to me. Just post them.
That's it. I'm not even asking you this time.
Send it to me. Because you know what?
This is take 2 of another hour.
This is take 2.
And look, we cut it down because it's supposed to be 15 minutes. We have 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
And the last one went an hour and a half. So.
Are you going to edit me or are you going to have that's going to be the whole show?
That's the whole show, man.
Well, you know what? Wags needs to be one on his own because nobody's going to listen to Wags if they hear 45 minutes of me. Well, and then you bloviating at the top of the show.
Well, you got to realize something. Wags' interview is going to be on Rumble and on YouTube by itself, too. So yours as well. So.
Okay, what is Rumble?
Rumble's the conservative version of YouTube. We're gonna get into that in a
the
little while.
conspiracy
But
theories,
anyway,
okay.
Kelby, thank you for coming on, man.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
All right, guys, so stay tuned for Mr. Stephen Waguespack, governor candidate of Louisiana. He's running against Jeff Landry and many others, so stay tuned for that. We'll be right back in a few moments, so please stay tuned.
That the four things that I think are most important is to be tough on hardened criminals. The criminal justice system, you got to help out people. And I did this for years and years and years as a prosecutor. Probably 80 to 85% of the people that came through the DA's office and through my prosecution experience, they got help to get back on track. About 15% were just hardened criminals that didn't deserve to be helped. They needed to go somewhere where they could not be a danger to you and I. And so we took care of putting those people in that place. I will fight for victims' rights. I've been a vice president of Crime Fighters, the largest victims group in the state, and dealt with victims all across the state and helped them navigate the criminal justice system and soothe their broken and aching hearts from their losses. And so I would continue to do that. I'd promote the early intervention program, and I would always, always, always be pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-Louisiana and fight for all your constitutional rights. So if you want somebody like me that has a tough on crime background, I think you would be well suited to join our team, and I would be honored to have your vote on October 14th.
This message is authorized by the campaign to elect Marty Maley Attorney General.
Let me tell you what I will do if you make me your lieutenant governor. First, I'm going to address the crime problem. We have to reduce crime in our major cities, particularly in New Orleans, but all across Louisiana. We must reduce the crime. The second thing that I will do differently is that I will sell all of Louisiana. Our state is wonderful, it's beautiful. North Louisiana is unique. Central Louisiana, unique. Cajun country, absolutely unique. All of Louisiana must be sold to the tourists of the world. The third thing that I will do is I will have a legislative staff, just as I had when I was a state representative and a state senator. And we will find common sense solutions to the major problems of Louisiana. And we have so many problems, like the high crime, like the rotten education system that our children are languishing in, too many bad roads and too few decent paying jobs. Those are the kinds of problems that I will address. I will not be a party boy. Well, I'll do a little partying when I'm selling Louisiana to the tourists of the world, but when the party's over, I'll be able to roll up my sleeves and get to the serious business of addressing the problems of Louisiana and Louisiana's people. Those are the things that I will do if you make me your lieutenant governor.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. And as advertised on our earlier segments with Kelby and on the first segment, we have Mr. Stephen Waguespack. He is running for governor here in the great state of Louisiana. We call him Wags here. So, Wags, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Man, what's going on? How you doing today?
It's wet. It's wet, but we needed it.
That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing, man. We need it. The farmers need it. The river needs it. We got to push that soil down, everything. So it's all good as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, man. And look, I'd rather it be wet than hot. You know, now it depends on the type of work we do. As you know, we drive dump trucks, but you know, too much wet weather is bad. But a good wet weather gives us a day off, and we just go ahead and go with
we
it.
just had like about an hour or two of wet, and you're already talking about it. Come on, man. We've had like 3 months without rain.
Yeah, we need some good weather, man. But
talk to the crawfish farmers. They'll tell you they're worried about what's underneath there, man. They need some moisture right now.
Well, and look, to be honest with you, Wags, we you know the economy's bad, and unfortunately, here in Louisiana we're suffering. There's not a lot of work right now, man, and that's that bad thing. And I think that's one thing you want to try to fix if you get elected governor.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, look, I'm a first-time politician, and while I've been around the game a long time, the truth is, the first time I've ever run for office. And if you'd asked me about a year or two ago if I was ever going to run, I'd said no. But the reason that changed for me is I think Louisiana's at a pretty tough spot right now. I think we're at a true crossroads, and there's no more tread water for Louisiana. We either move forward with this election or we go backwards. And I just can't sit by and watch the state I love, spiral out of control. So, yeah, I'm in this because I think I want to bring conservative values and turn them into conservative solutions. That means growing jobs. That means training our kids for jobs today. That means lowering the heavy weight of government and everything we do and let people just kind of live in a free market society. It's stopping the brain drain. It's not just stopping our kids from leaving for Texas. It's ideally starting to steal from Texas. And I mean, it's all that things and more. So that's why I got in. So yeah, I'm an old-fashioned, small market, pro-job, conservative Republican who likes to fix problems, and that's kind of what I want to do if I get in there.
And you like you said, you've been in this game for a while. You were Governor Bobby Jindal's chief of staff at one time, correct?
Yeah. So look, I grew up in Gonzales in Ascension Parish, lived there as a kid, went to LSU. After LSU, I went to D.C. for about a decade, quite frankly. And I was working up on Capitol Hill, went and got my law degree at night. My wife and I got married. We had kids, all that stuff up there. But look, what happened was in 2005, when Katrina and Rita hit, it really, obviously impacted the state in so many ways. Well, I'm married to a New Orleans girl. And so all her family was displaced. It made us want to come home, be part of it. We wanted to be part of that rebuild. And yeah, I was recruited by Bobby to come down and be part of that 2007 campaign and work in his first term. And in that first term, I was the policy guy, and then I was the executive counsel, and then I was chief of staff at the end of the first term. And so, that was an interesting term because we were recovering from Katrina and Rita. We were bringing conservative solutions in there, man. We were reducing the size of government. We were cutting taxes. We were growing jobs. We were getting our people back from other states. We were growing as a population. We revamped our workforce. We were passing historic education reforms the rest of the country was trying to copy. But at the same time, the Great Recession hit us like every other state. Housing market crashed. Oil prices went from way high to way low overnight. It was a tough time, man. And so at the end of that first term, the people forget at this point is at the end of that first term, Bobby was reelected. He won in the primary, every parish in this state. He won with like 65% in the primary, not the runoff, the primary. And so he was rolling. Now, I stepped down about 6 months into the second term. I went to go lead the State Chamber of Commerce, known as Lobby, and, kind of went off to do my thing early on the second term. The second term had a different script. Everyone's got their own opinion of that, but I wasn't there for a big chunk of that.
Hey, see, that's why I was going to ask you, because you have a lot of commentators here in the state of Louisiana, a lot of people. And look, I sent you a text message. I had a YouTube subscriber that unsubscribed to me because I wore your cap on screen. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
And they went ahead and they were making a point, Waguespack, he was a Jindal guy, this and this. But you weren't there when Bobby started messing up because a lot of conservatives tell me that the first Jindal term was good for Louisiana. Was when he got to wanting to be president and he wanted to, further his agenda. So you weren't even part of that administration with the deficit and all.
Well, and look, my opponents in this race, from the right and the left, quite frankly, they've spent a lot of money, attacking me in this race. And so obviously I'm a threat to kind of their game plan, and they're attacking me with Bobby's what they're doing. And look, in the first term, I'm proud of my record, and I'll put my record up against anyone because I think it's been a strong record. I'm proud of the people I served with, people like Liz Murrill, who's right now, one of the candidates and attorney general, who's, right now, Jeff Landry's top deputy. She was my deputy in the first term when I worked there. You had people like, so many other folks throughout that administration who did great heroic work. And I'm proud of all those people and the job they did. At the end of that first term, we were known as one of the most strongest governors in the country at that point in time. I did step down early in the first year of the second term. The second term got crazy a little bit and people got frustrated. And what happened is history has a way of rewriting itself over time. And over the last decade, people have said, the whole thing was a problem and all stuff. The truth is that is a lie. And my opponents know that's a lie. The first term, there was a lot of things to like there back there. If you were conservative, if you were any Louisianan, again, we were growing jobs. We were growing people. We were stealing people from other states. We were cutting taxes. We were controlling the growth of spending. We revolutionized the charity hospital system, turned it into a private-public partnership that improved healthcare for everyone. We actually had workforce clicking back then. We were training our kids for the jobs today. Other states were copying us all around the country on education reforms. We had the spotlight of the country looking at us, wanting to copy everything we do. So there's a lot of stuff that happened that first term. It's all forgotten in history, and it's all washed over with some of the attack ads coming on me. But look, that's politics. I'm not whining about it, but it's my job to kind of remind folks that there's a tale of two terms there. And the first term, I'm proud of my service there. The second term, you can do it and say what you want. I stepped down about 6-7 months in that first term, and so I wasn't there for a big chunk of that.
And that's where a lot of people don't do their research, Stephen. It goes to a point that, a lot of people like me, I talked to you guys. We met at a political event, two of them. We got a chance to talk, and because I was hearing that, and I had to remind myself that I had to go and do research, and that's why a lot of people. It's the stain of Bobby Jindal. That's Look, I was glad we had a Republican governor. Could Bobby have done a lot better in certain areas? Absolutely. But I don't agree everything with Donald Trump, and I love Donald Trump as a president. Yeah. But we're always not going to agree. But at the same time, that shouldn't put a stain on you, because Bobby Jindal at the end of the day was the governor. You wasn't.
Yeah, no doubt. I was a staffer, man. Look, if I win as governor, don't think for a second my staffers are going to run around here telling me what to do. I mean, I'm running to be the CEO, and whoever wins this race, I'm hoping they're running to do the same thing. If anyone's running to let their staff run the show, shame on them. I mean, that's not what I'm going to do, and that's not what Bobby treated me. I mean, Bobby was a well-educated, hardworking guy who had his own beliefs, and trust me, if anyone thinks that I was in some secret corner, like telling him what to do, they don't know Bobby very well. That was a dude that stood up on two legs very, very clearly. So, but look, I was a good, hardworking team member. I served the state well. If you talk to people who worked with me back then, they say the same thing. I mean, people who are in the know, who are around the Capitol, they know clearly the role I played, what I did, and all that stuff. And that's the truth. But in a campaign, sometimes truths can get, masked and camouflaged and all that stuff. And my opponents have done a good job trying to do that, but not good enough. Because I tell you, there's a lot of people in the state growing with our movement. They're really liking what we have to sell. And I love the momentum we're building at the late stages of this campaign, which has always been our plan. Look, our view was we're not the career politician. We haven't been in office forever. We're going to have to really kind of go through the good old-fashioned sweat equity to get our brand out there. So I've been traveling around the state, meeting people, and we knew that September was going to be where we started our surge, and October is where we're going to have our launch. And we feel that happening right now. And so, look, we'll find out good, bad, or ugly on Saturday. But I'm proud of the campaign we've run. I'm proud of the career I have. And I'm proud of what I stand for, which is I am a conservative guy who believes in conservative policies, but I also believe in providing solutions for people. I'm not a soundbite guy. I believe in going in there and fixing problems for people. Louisiana is not losing companies and families to other states because we're bad on soundbites. We're losing people because we're bad on solutions. And I want to bring solutions to the table. And I think I got a good track record of doing that.
But with that being said, moving forward, if you're fortunate to get elected on Saturday, what are a couple of things that you want to push on day one? Because I remember hearing you speak at the RPEC meeting a few weeks ago, and you made a comment about restricting some of the power of the governor. And we talked on length about constitutional conventions and everything like that. But, besides that, I would like you to touch on that. But besides that, on day one, what's your main focus?
Yeah, look, there's three big things you got to tackle on, and people don't realize this about a governor. Your first big challenge is an HR challenge, human resources challenge. You got to hire people and fire people and do it quickly. And there's so many hires to make. Typically, what you see a lot of candidates do is they just go out and look, who's my buddies? Who's someone I know? I'll just throw them in jobs. That's the worst thing to do. You got to take the time to go out and look all across this country. You need to find the most innovative, conservative, policy-oriented, solution-oriented, ethical people and put them in those roles. And so I'm going to do that. I'm already preparing for that. I want to make sure we have the right team in place to run all these agencies to do all these efforts that I know are going to be bold. The second thing is there's an affordability crisis in this state, and it starts with insurance. And so I want to call an insurance special session as soon as I get in there. And the incoming insurance commissioner, Tim Temple, myself, have already been talking. You got to go in and attract new insurers to this market. You got to fortify communities to make them safer and manage water better. And you got to tackle legal reform. and this excessive lawsuit culture we have with everything you got. And that has to be a special session. It has to be bold, and it has to be quick. The third big thing you got to do quickly, I think, once elected is I want to start an outside audit of every agency in government and have someone come in and really scrub the books and give me the good, the bad, the ugly of everything we're doing as a state. So if I can find efficiencies to reduce that taxpayer input, I want to do it. If I can find programs working pretty well right now, that we need a little bit more, policy change or a little bit more dollars from existing revenues, I want to shift some of those dollars over. Or if I can make efficiencies and reductions, I want to do that as well. But I need a third-party audit to come in quickly so they can find those savings everywhere across government. So hiring the right people that have conservative values and the ability to implement in an ethical way, special session on insurance reform to try to lower those rates as quickly as possible, and doing an audit on every agency to make sure we can find savings everywhere we can. That's the near-term kind of 30-day plan I want to get going as soon as I get in there.
And by predictions, you should have a majority Senate and possibly a supermajority House and legislation coming up because, we interviewed some great people that's running for state rep. We interviewed Blake Miguez, Alan Seaball, and a few others that are running for Senate. If they get in there, you should have a headway to get all those stuff done.
Absolutely, man. Look, I think the state's going to have a supermajority of Republicans on the House and the Senate side, and I think you can have a Republican governor. That's something we have never had before, and people forget that. You want to go back and talk about that first term of Bobby. People forget you had Democrat, control all over that place. That the House had a slim Republican margin, and then the Senate had a Democrat majority back then. That is not the era we're going to face right now. You're going to have control up and down. It's tremendous opportunity, but it's also a tremendous burden. You can't waste this opportunity. We've been waiting for decades for this moment. We can't screw it up. And that's the big piece of going in there. So I want to make sure I do that right now. Another thing as a candidate, I would tell you, look, elections get spicy, man. I mean, look, you know how it goes. And right now you've got Republicans battling for the same spot and this and that. I want everyone to know if I get in there, I'm bringing everyone together. I'm sorry, all right, guys, all right, gals, look, that was a spicy election, good for all of us. Now we're all on Team Louisiana. Let's go in, let's work together, let's find solutions, let's put the people first, let's get it done. And so I think even the people I'm running against right now, and I know downstream in the legislature, you got a lot of races that are Republican on Republican. Whoever comes out on top, it's imperative for us to get together, put Louisiana first, hit the ground running, because if we hit that first year or two and we show the people of the state that we can take this opportunity of having Republican control in the Capitol and use it for solve problems, man, they will give us all the air cover in the world and they'll support us to go get more done. If we spend the first year fighting over old election battles and bruised egos and all that garbage, then the people are going to look at us and say, y'all weren't ready to lead. You don't deserve my support. I'm not going to let that happen under my watch.
And that's one issue we have going into this election. Look, this governor's election, I know you're a candidate. You probably see a lot more than I do as a commentator, but it hasn't been that bad of mudslinging this election. I think a lot of Republicans understand that, if we mudsling, we lose elections. Yeah. And Wags, if you win or if Jeff wins or, Sherrod, but y'all guys got to come together and y'all got to go ahead and look, like you said, it's not for Republican, Democrat, it's for Team Louisiana. We can't let another Democrat get in there for another 4 years.
Amen. Look, I'm 100% there. You don't have to convince me on that. Now, I will tell you, it's a little easier to say it hadn't been that spicy of an election when it's not your kids watching attack ads on you on the Wheel of Fortune every night. I got to explain to my kids a lot, like, hey, don't worry about that, guys. It's no big deal. But like, as a candidate, that's coming. So I'm kind of joking about that. But look, I got into this race not because I hate anyone else or I dislike any other person or I want to go exercise some old vendetta. I don't care about any of that crap. I'll be honest with you. I care about Louisiana. I think Louisiana's dying economically. I think we're losing our families, and it irritates me to no end. So I do have a lot of passion, and I do have a lot of emotion on this. But it's not because I dislike other people. It's because I dislike where Louisiana has been allowed to drift. And I want to put it back on course. And I think this is the best opportunity we've ever had because you're going to have the supermajority of Republicans in the legislature. You're going to have a Republican governor. You've got a Southern economic boom going on around us. Look, in the post-COVID era, what's happening is individuals and families and businesses around the country, they're leaving the crazy states. California and New York and Illinois and states like that, they're losing people left and right, and they're all moving south. Texas is gobbling up California. Florida's gobbling up New York, and Illinois is going all over the place, especially in like Nashville and some of those other areas. Louisiana needs to be a vacuum cleaner state too. And so this is a great opportunity for us. So I'm in this race because I don't want to miss this chance. So if I'm lucky enough to be elected governor, part of my mission is to bring all Republicans together, get us on the same hymnal, let's go roll and make big change. If I don't win, part of my job is to remind myself why I got in this race. And I got in this race to help fix Louisiana any way I can. I'm going to do my part with whoever's in charge and try to help them any way I can to make sure we don't miss this opportunity.
So with that being said, I want to ask you two things that I would hope if you get elected, you would go ahead and touch on. One would be our elections, because we just talked about the mudslinging and stuff. Wags, I think that would stop if we had a closed primary system. Now, I honestly believe that Louisiana's election system needs to get fixed. I understand why Republicans pushed for the jungle primary back in the day, because it would help them win. But now is the Democrats have figured out a way to get around that as well. Do you want to fix that as governor? And also, you know, because Louisiana has the governor has more power than any other governor in the country. And like I said, I talked to you privately about this. I hope you don't mind we discuss this on the podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
What would you do to restrict some of that power and maybe even give some power to the lieutenant governor? Because all the lieutenant governor has is tourism.
Yeah, so two different questions. One, on the closed primary system. Look, I think I agree. I think I would support going to that, but there's a caveat that I have now that maybe I didn't have a couple months ago. And if you look in this cycle, what happened right now, the state party went into a closed room way early on. They decided who they wanted, and they pretty much decided they were going to oppose and, let's be honest, attack any other Republican who wanted to run. And so right now, I'm not asking for a thumb on the scale. I'm not asking for the state party to come out and say I'm the best thing since sliced bread. But what I am asking is to embrace Republican concepts, and free markets are what we stand for, man. And right now, the party is not allowing the free market to work. They're coming out and criticizing me and Sharon and John and others just because we want to run and share our ideas. I'm so old, I remember when Republicans used to believe in free markets and expression of ideas. And so I'm cool with a closed primary system, but the party's got to agree to let that party system work. Because if you have a primary, man, and the party goes into a dark room a year in advance and says, well, we already know who we want, what's the good of having a primary? So that's not fair. And so if the party wants to, allow for a free market of ideas, then I'm good with it. If they want to keep trying to, go into a dark room and select a winner in advance, then I got a problem. We got to talk. That's kind of my view on that.
Well, what I look about it as this, though, Wags, is this: if we have a closed primary, it leaves it up to us, the voters. You get what I'm saying? It would be, hey, look, we set up, and look, let's put it way early to where there's no bad blood. If we have some mudslinging, people forget about it.
I hear what you're saying.
And leave it up to the people.
It's hard when a lot of people, they're just living their life, man. They don't do politics for a living. You do a podcast, your average person, they're going out and working in the oil and gas industry. They're coming home. They're trying to kind of hang out with their family before they fall asleep and do it all over again. They just got to know. And so when they pay attention, if the state party kind of is talking to them saying, you know what, forget all these other Republicans out there. We went into a dark room and told you who to support. That's not right.
Yeah,
and so I think if we're going to go to a closed primary system, the party should say, look, we're a party that's growing. We got a great number of awesome candidates. Kick the tires on all of them. Give them all a good look, and then pick the best one and go into a runoff. I'm cool with a closed primary if that's the way they're going to approach it. And I think that's going to be good for all candidates because it puts pressure on all those candidates to compete with each other and be better finished products at the end that are ready to lead. So that's why I think on that front. On the second piece, on the office of governor and the power, look, I'm a big believer in this. I think for years we have depended on governors to come in and be Superman or Superwoman, and it's just unsustainable. And the good states don't do that. If you look at Florida and Texas, for example, they don't really care who their governor is, to be honest with you. I mean, the truth is you could put basically a box of rocks as governor in either one of those states, and those states are still going to grow because their power is local, their dollars are local, their business structure, their politics, their solutions are local. I want Louisiana eventually to get that way. So I think some of the things you do is right now the governor has too many power of these boards and commissions and appointments and all that stuff. I'd like to unwind some of that. If we can do away with any of those, let's do away with them and just let the free market work. A lot of these boards and appointments have been kept over the years, not because it's good for the economy, because it's good for political power. I want to kind of decentralize as much of that as possible. And I want to appoint people to these boards that, like on the higher ed boards and others, qualified, high quality people that are ethical, put them in their job and let them do their stuff without my micromanagement. I don't want that to happen. The other thing is, over time, I would like to push as many resources as I can down to the local level. And instead of having local mayors and others who have to go hire a lobbyist and run to the Capitol, let me just go ahead and push those dollars down. Like, I'm tired of hearing recovery dollars that the feds appropriate go to the state, and then the state agencies sit there and sit on them forever and ask for paperwork and ask for all these, like, oversight over local governments. I hear it all the time. In my administration, I want to push those dollars down to locals and then let the local government respond to their local people on whether it's being used the right way. Let the local government respond and be responsible to the federal government on that paperwork. The state should be a pass-through to the locals, and I'm a big believer, if you're a conservative, taxation and spending closest to the people is the best way to make it responsible. And so I want to push that down to the locals as much as possible.
And that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to. The state government shouldn't rely on the federal government, and the local government shouldn't rely on the state government. That's how I believe that's how our founding fathers wanted
Look,
it.
there's a role for all those entities, right?
Yeah.
But like, if each of them tries to be too much of the daddy, it just gums everything up. And right now in the state, we have tried to be involved in way too much economically, family-wise, school-wise, and we just got to get state government out of people's hair as much as we can and let people control their own lives, let the economy kind of control its own direction a little bit. And look, I'm not saying the state shouldn't regulate certain entities and make sure we're doing right things on emissions and transportation, all that stuff the right way. We got a public safety duty we have and all those things. But when it comes to the economy, and when it comes to people controlling where their kids go to school and how their kids are raised and what their kids, the type of, curriculum and ideologies that go into their children, I trust local families more than I trust any bureaucracy or corporation. And so the best way I can do that is get government out of the hair and let families take control of the state. I think that's what Texas and Florida does pretty well. I think we should copycat that from that mindset.
We should do what's working and not do what's not working, because unfortunately, we 50 at everything bad, 50 at everything good, and first at everything bad. So
that is very true, my friend.
So Wags, at the close of this segment, I would like to ask you, if you're talking to a voter that is considering you or says, hey, I don't know that much, tell me a little bit about you, where they can find information, or what do you tell them for Saturday as they go vote?
Look, real quick on me, man. Look, I've had a lot of different jobs in my past. You probably hear a lot about it, but the truth is this. I'm a married guy with 3 sons, and I'm worried about my kids leaving for other states. I'm running to put solutions to make your life easier to live here. I want to lower the cost of living for you. I want to fix your insurance crisis. I want to put public safety in your area so you're not scared to go out and about. And I want to make schools more of a workforce preparation place, not an indoctrination place. And I want to empower you to control this state's future. So I'm kind of the anti-politician. I want to go and make it harder for politics to mess up your life. And if you elect me, that's what you're going to get. If you want to learn more about me, my background, where I stand, my website is wagsforla.com. wagsforla.com. I'd be honored to be your governor out there. And look, learn more about me. All the other candidates, compare us. And I know there's a lot of Republicans and conservatives that listen to this. I would tell you this. Look, if you vote for me on this Saturday, what's probably going to happen is, if we get enough Republicans voting, you'll have a double Republican runoff. I think there's a very real possibility that me and Jeff can both get in this runoff. I think that's a good thing for conservatism. Yep. Then we can all spend the next 30 days, kick the tires on me, kick the tires on Jeff, take a look at both of us, make the best decision possible. I've never asked for a handout. I just want a fair shake. And if you put us both in the runoff, man, Republicans are going to have the ability to have their cake and eat it too. So if you vote for me, all it does is going to give you 30 more days to compare me and Jeff. And I think that's be good for conservatism, good for Louisiana, and good for where we want to take this state.
Stephen Waguespack running for governor. Wags, hope maybe the next time I talk to you, I can either call you governor-elect or we can talk about the runoff, man.
One way or another, I'll be glad to come on anytime, man.
Yeah, maybe if you get elected, I won't get criticized for wearing your hat next time. So
hey, wear it backwards. Maybe that's the way to do it.
So you want to hear a funny joke on Brothers Just Searching? Because sometimes we do the show on the same evening, and I wore a Blake Miguez hat, and producer LB was in the studio, and he looked at me and said, "Really?" I said, what? So that was one of the only times I wore my hat backwards for a Bible study. It looked like I was a gangster studying the Bible. But
see, I like all these guys, man. All these guys I'm running against and all that stuff. And look, Blake's a guy. Look, he's endorsed Jeff. But look, Blake and I get along great too. Look, at the end of the day, conservatives, election time is for fighting. Governing time is for getting together. And at the end of the day, it's imperative that we all get on the same page. Louisiana's future is too important for infighting to get in the way of solutions.
And you know, going back to what you said, if you and Jeff get into a runoff, that would be the best of both worlds, because we would know for sure we have a Louisiana Republican governor. We wouldn't have to worry. Oh man, we hope Pothole Wilson just barely scratches through. You know.
Well, he's probably stuck in traffic somewhere right now.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But Steve, thank you for coming on, man. And again, we hope to hear from you on election night, and we'll be seeing if we call your name into a runoff.
Sounds good, man. Go fight, win. Love it. Y'all
All right.
going.
That was Stephen Waguespack. He is the candidate running for governor against a lot of good candidates out there. But if you want to find out more, go ahead and check out Stephen Waguespack's website, Wags for Louisiana. And, you know, hey, make a wise decision this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I say. Look, Wags, Jeff, Sherrod, any of them women and men would be better than what we got right now. So with that being said, that will end this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. If you live in the state of Louisiana, please remember to go vote Saturday. It will help Louisiana out by getting us some good conservative candidates in office. So with that being said, remember that Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. Don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, reach out to me. I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.
And he is the open door.